Imagine a state where a political aide's murder barely causes a ripple because political violence is an expected part of daily life. That's what just happened in West Bengal.
It really does sound surreal. But it's true. West Bengal's political culture has normalized violence to a degree you rarely see elsewhere in India.
Today we're digging into why Bengal is so different. I'm your host, and with me is someone who studied Bengal's politics for years.
I'm excited to unpack what makes Bengal's political scene so unique, and why this murder isn't just an isolated tragedy.
Here's what we'll dive into: the roots of Bengal's violent political culture, how its party structure fuels this, the historic role of refugees, how cadre-based politics took over, and why things are only getting more tense after recent elections.
And by the end, you'll see why incidents like this are a warning sign for what's ahead in West Bengal.
So, what makes West Bengal's politics such a hotbed for violence compared to other states?
A big part of it is that violence isn't just tolerated, it's woven into the social fabric. Local society often supports or overlooks it, almost as if it's part of political life.
That's wild to think about. In most states, people vote based on party promises, then move on. But in Bengal, politics is about much more than just elections.
Exactly. Parties in Bengal, especially the cadre-based ones, are embedded in every aspect of daily life, from markets to schools, even sports clubs. Their influence goes way beyond campaign season.
That actually reminds me, how did this cadre system get such a grip on Bengal? You mentioned it didn't start overnight.
It really started after 1947. When refugees from East Pakistan flooded in, they needed land, food, and a sense of belonging. Political parties, especially Congress and the left, competed fiercely for their loyalty by promising to meet those needs.
So these parties built deep local networks to organize and mobilize people, right?
Yes, they created strong local cadres who became the party's eyes, ears, and in many ways, its muscle. Over time, this embedded the party into every village and neighborhood.
But the story really shifts in the late 1970s with the Left Front's victory. What changed once they took power?
The left realized that, to stay in power, they needed more than just winning elections, they needed to control society itself. They positioned their cadres as gatekeepers to government services. If you needed anything, you had to go through the party.
That's almost like building a parallel system of authority, isn't it?
It is. And then, inspired by China, the left also absorbed the tactics of the Naxalite movement, fueling an era where armed struggle and violence were seen as legitimate political tools.
So fast forward, and Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress rises, taking over much of the old left cadre network. But what's going on now, post-election?
After losing power, Trinamool's cadres, many of whom once worked for the left, are in crisis. They're anxious, fearing loss of control over society, clubs, festivals, and even government access.
And with BJP's rise, it's not just a fight for power, but for survival. BJP has its own cadre system, rooted in the RSS, and they're not interested in absorbing the old guard.
Exactly. That's why the violence is escalating. Trinamool cadres feel cornered, and BJP's approach leaves no room for compromise. The entire system is on edge.
Given all this, it sounds like West Bengal is heading toward even more unrest. What do you see happening next?
Unless something major shifts, the old cadre networks won't give up power quietly. There's too much at stake. Decades of social, economic, and territorial control are hard to surrender.
And now with calls to internationalize the conflict, like Mamata Banerjee's push for the International Court of Justice, the stakes are getting even higher.
Absolutely. When local disputes go global, even bigger forces get involved. That could mean even deeper instability, and perhaps new players entering Bengal's political scene.
Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. First, political violence in Bengal isn't random. It's embedded in the state's unique cadre-driven history.
Second, the battle for power is also a battle for social and economic control, which is why cadres fight so fiercely to hold on.
Third, with BJP's rise, there's little incentive for compromise, making further violence likely, especially at the grassroots level.
If you want to understand what's next in Bengal, keep an eye on how cadre networks adapt or resist. For our listeners, start by following local news sources for grassroots shifts, not just the headlines.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know if you want an episode on how international actors might shape Bengal's politics next.
This was a crucial conversation. Stay curious and see you in the next episode.